This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Catherine Pereira, assisted by Surangani and read by Geetanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. The Cabinet approves to purchase 6 million more Sputnik V vaccine doses. Media Minister says the present government has given the rights and freedom to all citizens in the country. The government pays attention to conduct provincial council elections. 248 migrants stranded in Oman have arrived in the island. City bus service will be expanded to other provinces in the country. News overseas, Australia and New Zealand to start quarantine-free travel. Local news in detail. The Department of Government Information says Sri Lanka is planning to import 6 million more doses of Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine from Russia during a meeting held yesterday. The Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal tabled by the Health Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi to order more of Sputnik V jabs to proceed with Sri Lanka's inoculation drive. Earlier, the Cabinet of Ministers gave the nod to purchase 7 million doses of Russia-made Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine for $69.65 million. The purchase order was placed on the recommendations of the Cabinet-appointed negotiation committee. Media Minister Keheliya Ramukwala says that the government has given the right and freedom to all citizens in the country. Participating at the Cabinet media briefing held today, he said the importance of having open dialogue will help the success of any task. He said any institution can be maintained correctly through conducting dialogues. The media briefing was held at the Information Department. Answering to a question raised by a media personnel, he said, it is proved that the government has given full media freedom. The government has taken a clear decision on conducting the provincial council elections. Accordingly, measures will be taken to hold the elections soon. Conducting of ceremonies should be limited during the COVID-19 pandemic. The police and the health officials have been advised in this regard. The government has paid special attention on carcinogenic coconut oil. Sri Lankan Embassy in Oman, in collaboration with the President's Secretariat and the Foreign Ministry of Sri Lanka, made special arrangements for the repatriation of 248 stranded Sri Lankan migrant workers from Muscat to Colombo by Sri Lankan Airlines. This includes around 45 stranded Sri Lankan migrant workers who had overstayed in the Sultanate of Oman after the expiry of their visas. Others include Sri Lankan migrant workers who lost their jobs, sheltered at the embassy safe house, released from prisons, and those who are under medical emergencies. The government of Oman granted an amnesty for the Sri Lankan destitute migrant workers to leave Oman with a full waiver of their penalties and fines. The Embassy of Sri Lanka in Muscat provided them with the necessary travel documents free of charge to return to Sri Lanka. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The Speed Investment Plan from Sri Lanka Insurance. Give a high five to life.
The Tourism Development Authority stated yesterday that 9,629 tourists have arrived in the country since the reopening of airports on the 21st of January. Tourism Minister Prasanna Rantunga said that an increase in tourists is expected this year with the curbing of the pandemic. He added that discussions were underway with foreign embassies regarding the matter. The tourists have arrived from Kazakhstan, Germany, United Kingdom, Ukraine, Russia, India, China, Switzerland and Canada. In keeping with the New Year customs and traditions, the timetable of auspicious times for this year's Sinhala and Tamil New Year, known as the Nakat Seed Tour, was presented to the President by the State Minister Vidura Wickramanayake. The Ministry of Health has named the month of April as the Health Active Month. Director of the Non-Communicable Disease Unit of the Health Ministry, Dr. Vindhya Kumarapeli, says that there is a high risk of increasing of non-communicable disease due to lack of exercise. She made these remarks at a media briefing held at the Health Promotion Bureau today. That ends local news.
Introducing Speed Investment with Sri Lanka Insurance, the only insurance policy that increases your sum assured by 5% every year for the same premium amount. You also get a bonus payment at maturity. What better plan to have when you can invest now and relax later? The Speed Investment Plan from Sri Lanka Insurance. Give a high five to life. Sri Lanka Insurance. Like a father, like a mother.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
State Minister Dilum Amunugama says that the city bus service initiated as a remedy to the traffic congestion in the Colombo city have become a profit-earning venture. The passengers could reach their destinations comfortably through this bus service. Participating in a ceremony held in Kitulgala, he said this service will be expanded to the other provinces in the island, and plans have also been made to begin a new bus service in the name of Rural Service to the nearest town from Kandy. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight this afternoon, the bus drivers and passengers are facing many difficulties due to not having sanitary facilities at the main bus stand situated in front of the Kalaniya Raja Mahaviharaya. The two-storied building with trade stalls constructed by the Kalaniya Pradeshya Sabha have also not provided this facility. The residents request the relevant authorities to provide the sanitary facilities immediately. This is for the attention of the chairman of the Kalaniya Pradeshya Sabha and came to you in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
the best discount in this Urdu season, People's Leasing Polybasi. Enjoy an interest rebate of 25% from People's Leasing for all the leasing facilities during this Urdu season. Call 011-206300 for more details. Conditions apply.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Headlines of the world news. Australia and New Zealand to start quarantine-free travel. Floods and landslides in Indonesia and East Timor kill more than 100. Vaccine program proves tough task in Lebanon. Australian and New Zealand residents will be able to travel between the two nations without having to quarantine from the 19th of April. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced the move today. Since October, New Zealand travellers have been allowed to enter most Australian states without quarantine, but this had not been reciprocated. Both nations have since contained COVID outbreaks and sustained very low or near zero infection rates. About 1.5 million Australians used to visit New Zealand annually pre-COVID. At least 113 people have died after flash floods and landslides hit Indonesia and East Timor on Sunday. Torrential rain sparked widespread destruction in the Southeast Asian neighbours, with water from overflowing dams submerging thousands of homes. The affected area stretched from Flores Island in eastern Indonesia to East Timor. In Indonesia alone, 86 people have died, with dozens still missing. Officials warn the toll could still rise. The mud and the extreme weather have become a serious challenge, and the debris piling up has hampered the search and rescue team. The global coronavirus vaccine initiative COVAX is facing challenges in Lebanon. Misinformation, vaccine hesitancy and distrust of the government are just some of the problems. Dogging its rollout there. COAX, a multi-agency project, stands for COVID-19 vaccines global access. It aims to ensure fair distribution of the vaccine, particularly to lower-income nations, and was initiated by several organizations, including the WHO and UNICEF. To end this bulletin of world news, the headlines again. Australia and New Zealand to start quarantine-free travel. Floods and landslides in Indonesia and East Timor kill more than 100. Vaccine program proves tough task in Lebanon. That ends World News.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
The best discount in this Urdu season, People's Leasing Polywasi. Enjoy an interest rebate of 25% from People's Leasing for all the leasing facilities during this Urdu season. Call 011 206 300 for more details. Conditions apply.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development News is brought to you by CIB Nivea offer valuable gift vouchers for every bill payment during 1st to 10th April. 20% discount for bank card holders. Our place, our product. CIB.
The government has taken several measures to uplift the fishing industry in the north and eastern provinces. Minister Douglas Devananda says that necessary facilities will be provided to the fishing industrialists. He also pointed out that the government of India has expressed their willingness to provide their support to enhance the fishing development in Sri Lanka. He made these remarks participating in opening of sea cucumber breeding centres constructed in Toduai in Mannar recently. That ends Development News.
Development News was brought to you by CIB Nivea offer valuable gift vouchers for every bill payment during 1st to 10th April. 20% discount for bank card holders. Our place, our product. CIB.
Sports news. The IPL tournament will begin on Friday. Organisers of the tournament say that the tournament will be conducted giving priority for the health guidelines during the COVID pandemic. Several players who will be participating in the tournament have been infected with the COVID virus. The 10 matches of the IPL tournament is to be held in Mumbai. That's sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Special economic centres will be implemented to purchase agricultural products from farmers directly. The government has taken measures to implement 15 such economic centres island-wide. The construction work of economic centres in Batticaloa and Vaunia has already been completed. Under the first phase of this program, a special economic centre was constructed in Jaffna. That's on Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
In economic news, Crisworld Limited will become the first SME company in Sri Lanka to obtain regulatory approval for listing on the Colombo Stock Exchange. This is happening after 100 years since the establishment of the stock exchange in Sri Lanka. Crisworld Limited entered the history books on March 26th, where a company classified under the category of SME obtained regulatory approval for listing in the Colombo Stock Exchange SME Empower Board. That's economic news.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasir, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Weather report. The Met Department says showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the western and in the Sabaragama provinces and in Galle, Matara and Nuwara districts in the evening or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragama and western provinces during the morning. On the apparent northward relative motion of the sun, it is going to be directly over the latitudes of Sri Lanka during the 5th to the 14th of April this year. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To end this news broadcast, the headlines once again. The Cabinet approves to purchase 6 million more Sputnik V vaccine doses. Media Minister says the present government has given the rights and freedom to all citizens in the country. The government pays attention to conduct provincial council elections soon. 248 migrants stranded in Oman have arrived in the island. City bus service will be expanded to the other provinces in the country. In news overseas, Australia and New Zealand to start quarantine-free travel. And with that, we end this news broadcast. And back to Victor Raj.